In Madison against a very, very good basketball team. It's funny. You guys reminded me. I made a comment after watching them play in West Virginia in their MTE. I thought that team had a chance to be one of the top 5 teams in the country, and we were obviously shorthanded, but give them credit. Tanjay hit some very hard shots. Watching defensively, thought we did some really, really good things. Offensively, again, we were challenged a little bit with some lineups and having to do some different things. But all in all, I thought we fought. They're good. They were better than us, and through all the circumstances, distractions, I thought we were great. Draven was tremendous. I thought it was nice to see Trey back out playing with some energy and some pop. We were obviously didn't get a great night from KJ. That happens, but a lot of lessons learned, and again in a really tough situation. Jake doesn't even make it out for the second half. I think we've had one practice since our West Coast trip where we've had our whole team, and that's been challenging. It's changed some roles and so on and so forth. But I know we'll have Tommy back today, and we'll see where Jake goes. With his sickness. The bad thing is it's been lasting 3 or 4 days, and Tommy lost 7 pounds and multiple IV bags just to get there. So frustrating, challenging. We're going to control the controllables. Very, very excited about the opportunity to play Duke. Very excited to be in the Garden. It's the hallowed place. It's anytime I get a chance to take a team to play Madison Square Garden, I'm going to do that. There's a special vibe about the place and the building and the excitement, and if you're a basketball player, you're a basketball coach, playing there is very, very special. So, Duke team that's having a great year. John's done a really, really good job with his team. They've got a nice mix of veterans and new guys. Obviously, Cooper is as good as advertised, and I think he's one of the best players I've seen come into high school or into college basketball in years. His versatility, his athleticism. I think he just turned 18. Is scary, but they've got other pieces. Khan's having a great year. They protect the rim. So I think they're a very, very good defensive team, which is a tribute to John and the attitude that he's put on that team.
Does your game prep change when you don't have as many guys? You got guys out in terms of how hard you practice them, or just what you do as far as that goes?
Sure. I mean, it is. When we've been going games not knowing who we were even starting until right then. I looked at Jake in pregame warm-up and said, "Are you all right?" I just thought he might be a little nervous, and he was green, and he said he's sick, and that's okay, who else can we stick in there? And when you work on one thing and you have to go do another, that's been challenging, but no excuses. Guys got to step up. We've got to adapt. We've got to get back to some of the things offensively we're doing. We're still a top 15 offense. I always go back to the Oregon game. We missed our first 9 threes and had an unbelievable offensive efficiency. We've got to get back to offensive rebounding. We've got to get back to chasing balls, and that's the key for us.
You're kind of going through it with injuries and illnesses. What do you need from guys like Kylan and Trey, who have played a lot of college basketball?
Stay healthy, so they can lead. Trey's Trey was wiped out for a week. And you don't feel like doing anything when you're sick. I hope you guys hope nobody's been sick, but if you've been sick, you know how bad you feel. Just the energy to get up and go to the bathroom is take something, and you just want guys' energy levels back so they can lead. And like I said, that's been part of it. Trey's been through some of this, and Kylan has obviously been at a very high level. We're leaning on Kylan very, very hard. I thought he played with great energy the other night. Kylan's got to shoot basketballs when he's open. He's defensively, I thought he did a terrific job on Tanjay, and he got 30. And he had some he had 3 of the hardest step backs, well guarded, and you just pat him on the shoulder and say, great job. But his energy is what we need, and his leadership. And when you get guys healthy and feeling good, our energy is terrific, and feels good. It just brings a positivity about it. When you feel good, when you don't feel good, you're just trying to survive and get through. And that's kind of where our practices have been for a bit now. So hopefully we get back. And Tommy's a big key. Tommy's got tremendous maturity, and he's got a great energy about him. And we miss that. Tommy's been in one practice in a month, and so there's a lot of opportunity there to get him back and helping our practices become really competitive again.
How did this game with Duke come together?
I think it was an opportunity that was presented. There was a game played last year, Duke and Gonzaga and Kentucky played a non-league game in February, and that was an opportunity to get to New York in the Garden, which both Duke and us were having to be looking for. And then it just, between their staff and Joey and our staff, it was just an opportunity that I thought, man, this is unique, it's different, it's a nice break from, for lack of a better term, the monotony of conference play. Go play somebody that's really good, and I think it just, the TV networks were heavily involved, and Fox, and so I think it's just matured through a kind of organic conversations with some teams looking for the same things.
I mean, were you looking for maybe a non-league game at this time of year? Is that something you've thought about before?
Not until last year, to be very honest with you. I don't know how many people have done that, but I like being very different. I like thinking outside the box, and I thought it was a terrific thing last year with Gonzaga and Kentucky, and I thought, well, why would we not do that? And brings tremendous attention, and it's a great opportunity to get out of league, and so it wasn't something I really thought a lot about. It just kind of presented itself, and then the success of that game last year, and let's put the Illini in it.
What do you think playing a non-Big Ten team now what does that maybe mean, or what can that do for the team to see something different?
Ask me after. I don't know. I think there's a different energy, a different buzz maybe about it. I think it's I thought at the time, I said this we'll have an NCAA tournament feel, type game where you're going into it, and there'll be some buzz and energy, and we know it'll be a great crowd, and you see what ticket prices are going for, and that's fun. That builds some hype and some excitement, and so I just thought that would be a pretty cool energy to bring to a game.
You talk about Wisconsin being so old, Duke maybe a little more youth. Like, what's different when you prepare for a team that has so many old guys versus a team maybe that doesn't?
No, it's not as. It's a factor, but they're really talented, both teams. We've seen a lot of really talented teams. Whether we play Missouri, whether you play Arkansas, Alabama, they're all really talented. I worry more about the talent. The one thing I will say about Wisconsin was I thought the Tanjay piece gave them a superstar, around a lot of really good players, and they've accepted that. So you see that maturity that's happened with that addition of that piece. I think they're all, I think everybody's identified with the fact Cooper's a pretty good player, and a bunch of players have bought into the fact that they're excited about their roles, and whether it's James at the point, transfer from Tulane, whether it's Mason Gillis off the bench, from Purdue. I think everybody's accepted their roles, and so the age doesn't mean as much. There's tremendous talent, on both those teams, but you approach it the same way, knowing you've got to stop really good players and certain things you've got to attack.
You haven't obviously faced him yet, but where do you think Cooper might rank among guys you've coached against, and maybe who is at the top of that list to date?
He'll be up there. I'd love to personally see him stay in basketball for another year. I would work any NIL deal to possibly work to keep that young man in college basketball. I think he's great for the game. I think he's great for college basketball. I know he's got a lot of other opportunities. I've heard him throw that out there, but that's just my quick take. I think he's again probably a better question of the post game. Watching him on film, he's very good. There's I think he wakes up on most game days and has 20. There's not very many guys who can do that. I think he's an elite defender. His balance, his athleticism, I think that probably Kevin Durant, Blake Griffin. There's been a lot of good ones, but he's different. He doesn't have to score the ball. And I say that he got 42 against Notre Dame. They dorked him, but but he just does so many things and impacts the game. So I think he plays really, really, really hard. So I have great appreciation for that.
This is the third season in a row you'll play at the Garden. Just what have the last two maybe meant for the program just to get that stage?
Oh, it's part of building it. It's part of what we've done. I hope everybody understands that. I mean, you got to play in high-profile games to become somebody. You got to play these games, and regardless of the outcome, we've scheduled hard for a reason to build to become, a team that's in the NCAA tournament every year and a team that has a chance to win it. It's not by being a sissy or a wimp and playing 15 bye games. That doesn't do you any good. And so we've not been afraid to go challenge the best and play the best in an arena that is really special to the game of basketball. And I want our players to understand that's the Mecca. That's where every great player's played there, and just keep adding to the list. And like I said, if I can play in New York City every year. We got great alums there. We've got great fan base and support. I would play a game there every year if we could.
Probably too soon to ask, but are you trying to get a game there next year?
Absolutely. We'll play anybody in the Garden.
You said with KJ, your turnovers are part of his game. What did you see from him in Madison, and what do you think he's out of those?
Well, I saw 3 fouls that didn't get called that were turnovers that were just egregious. And 2 of them in the last 4 minutes. And when somebody grabs your elbow and yanks you, and he's strong, so he doesn't flop around like a lot of players do when they get him called, and I'm really frustrated with that. I mean, he should be shooting 4 free throws in the first 4 minutes of the game, and Blackwell literally grabs his arm and yanks it back, and the ball goes out of bounds, and I don't know how you miss those. Part of his comfort and rhythm comes from Tommy and being there and their ability to play and connect. He had a turnover to start the second half. Both guys rolled, and he's in the air with and knowing where he should be able to pass it to, and there's nobody there. It's not really his fault. That's just the discomfort we've had in being disjointed and not doing some of the, putting people in positions that we haven't had them, to be very honest. So, yeah, he'll be fine. He'll be fine. And you know, I've said all year long, those two need each other, and they make us really, really good when they're good. And but I'm very frustrated with the no calls, and I sent them all into the league. I've talked to the commissioner of officials, and I just don't know how you don't call what you see. And they were right there, right in front of officials, and they're egregious. He should have shot 4 free throws in the first 2 drives, and instead they end up turnovers. And we sure didn't get that whistle. So.
I know you said you've sent in a few to the league with him. There's been a conversation. Like, do you feel like you're making any meaningful progress in terms
None. There's no accountability. These guys just go officiate another game the next night in a different league. So that's one of the challenges we have right now. And I'm not. Those are really good officials. They just for whatever reason missed them. And so you know I'm you know. I can be frustrated. I'm frustrated for KJ, and when you do what you're asked to do, and you get right to, I mean, cracked a bone with a deep bruise in his wrist and missed 2 games because of a no call, and it's right there in front of the official. They just don't call it, and I don't get that. I just don't understand that.
You guys have been so good rebounding all year. How do you maintain that level on the glass now with Perez out, and obviously the size you're going to see with this Duke team?
Like any other team, just go. I'm really disappointed in our offensive rebounding. Our offensive rebounding, that's effort, and it's not just Perez. Perez gets 2 a game. That's where we miss Jake. Jake tracked down, you know, multiple long rebounds, and Trey White's got to become that guy. Kylan's got to get back to that. Casper says to get back to it. It's a collective group, and you know, those are just effort things that we have to get back to doing, especially offensively. You know, like I said, you shoot and miss shots. Great, we're still one of the best offenses in the country. We missed shots all year, but we've tracked them down and got second opportunities, and we have to continue to do that.
Over the last month, you guys are outside the top 100 in defense. I know you've had guys out, obviously, but
kid.
yeah,
It's news to me.
is there anything that within that you want to do differently, or is it just you need to be better within your principles and what you guys do?
It's personnel based. I mean, we're asking Trey White to play the 4, so I mean we're playing really good teams. You know, it's like I said, it's about chemistry. It's about continuity on that side. You don't have everybody. You're asking guys to play in different roles. No excuse. We got to be better. We have to be better. And I didn't think we played bad the other night defensively. You know, we fought as well as we could fight with you know, Tommy's sick and can't really lift his arms, and you know, wasn't in practice. He missed 2 scouting report assignments that he just didn't have from practice on Crow, who hits 2 threes at the end of the half. That's what's frustrating, not the schemes, not the, you know. So we'll fight.
Ben, you know, mentioned that Dre has maybe stepped into more of a leadership role. Have you seen him be more vocal, or?
Yeah, there's a reason he had a great game. He had 2 best practices he's had in uniform, and it was all energy, it was all enthusiasm, it was all trash talking, it was all competitive, it was all it was fun, and he's making the most of his opportunity. He played sensational. He was terrific, in both ends, and you know, he's got to be that nasty on-ball defender and end guys because of his size, but he's been great. He's been doing a great job of leading.
You asked about Perez and Madison. Do you expect him back this year?
I don't know. that would just be complete speculation. At this point, he's doing everything he can to try to do that. We get this game in Iowa, and then we've had such a compressed schedule. I think we have 2 games in 15 or 16 days after that, and then the tournament, and then the NCAAs. So you've got some time there to hopefully heal and grow and not feel like you're, and most importantly, be able to get him in practice. Right now, we're doing no conditioning with him, no physical activity, just trying to let that bone heal, bone stimulation. He's in the infrareds, he's in the hyperbarics for hours upon hours a day to try to do everything he can. But again, that will ultimately become, a medical call. So I would just be, he's doing everything he can to try to do that, but I would just be guessing, speculation.
I had one more. Dre talked after the game about how guys, it seems like maybe holding each other accountable more. He said maybe we're too nice to each other early. Have you seen maybe his roles defined a little bit, like any more of that, or an uptick of some of that between the players?
A little bit. I think that I thought Ben was terrific the other night in timeouts and huddles. I think Kylan's been really good at that. I think he was exceptional the other night. Draven's doing it in practice. That's where I continue to try to help Kasparis grow. Is that piece. Kasparis's swag is a quiet swag. I need it to be a little more cocky and vocal. But I think and then Tommy just has it. Tommy has it. Tommy's got everybody's attention in the gym all the time. Everybody knows how smart he is. Everybody knows he's funny. Everybody knows his character, his toughness, and Tommy's got it. And so it hasn't been here. And that will be a welcome sight when he's fully back in his energetic self, because he's a trash talker. He stirs things up in practice. He's ultra competitive. He's tougher than nails, and he's just a guy that brings it all the time, and he's very intelligent. So I think everybody looks to him for a lot of that. And so do I need to see some more of that? I need to see it more from Kasparis. I need to see it more continued from Ben. That was a big step for Ben. I need to see it from Trey and Dre. I mean, Dre had his best week by far, and it was all because he did that. And it's amazing how that carries over. So, but yeah, I mean, we're doing a lot of the right things. We're headed in the right direction. It doesn't look like it now because we can't control some of the uncontrollables, but guys are getting better and doing some really positive things, and it just, it'll hit when it hits.
Thanks, Brad.
Thanks, Brad.